In our modern world, rugged phones are fascinating, but they aren't as popular with general masses. Most people that use rugged phones are adventurers or people that break phones often. These kinds of devices usually are very durable but also very bulky, and many people avoid using them because of their weight and thickness. This isn't the case, however, with the Cubot KingKong ES. This device combines all the best features of rugged phones, but in a thinner and lighter form factor. If you are on a hunt for a rugged phone that doesn't break the bank and with a slim form factor, then this video is for you. This is my full review of the Cubot KingKong ES. Before I start the review, I want to mention that this phone was sent to me by my good friends at Cubot. However, everything I say in this video is my honest opinion, and the company did not influence my review in any way. Most smartphone boxes today only include the device itself and a charging cable. Cubot, on the other hand, offers users more by also including the power brick and a tempered glass screen protector. This makes the unboxing experience much more pleasing, especially considering its price of $100. When it comes to the build quality, the Cubot KingKong ES is built like a tank. Designed to endure tough conditions, this phone is IP68 and IP69K certified, meaning it can resist water, dust, and even high-pressure water jets. It has a design with reinforced corners, a thick rubberized frame, and a back panel that provides a firm grip. This phone isn't made for people who only use their phones for social media. It is made for adventurers who need great battery life and for people who always break their phones. While the device is heavier and bulkier than typical smartphones, it is thinner than most of the rugged phones out there. In fact, it is the thinnest and lightest rugged device I have, measuring 12.8 millimeters in thickness and weighing 268 grams. When it comes to the display, the Cubot KingKong ES comes with a 6.56-inch LCD panel and with a 720p resolution. I am going to be honest with you, the display isn't at the standard of modern smartphones. It doesn't get that bright. The colors aren't as accurate as OLED panels, but the good thing is that it has a 90 Hz refresh rate. The bezels are bigger and it has a teardrop notch where it houses the front camera. With that out of the way, personally speaking, when I was outdoors working or hiking, I didn't need an OLED display with 4K resolution or 120 Hz refresh rate. For what this phone is intended to, this display is just fine. I can easily read notifications and text with friends outside even in sunny days. Sure, it doesn't compete with 2024 flagships, for example, but for the price of $100, I think the display of the KingKong ES is more than enough. The Cubot KingKong ES comes with Android 14 out of the box, and the software experience is good. Apps and games take a bit longer to load, but in day-to-day life, the device doesn't lag at all. It has also a clean software, closely reminiscent of stock Android. When it comes to performance, I think this device is just okay. It comes with a mid-range Unixoc T606 processor, does the job fine. While it isn't the best for gaming, I think it is acceptable for everyday tasks. For the things this phone is intended to, it does the work okay. Other devices around this price point have much weaker processors compared to the KingKong ES. My unit comes with 128 gigabytes of storage, which is the same as the iPhone 15 Pro that costs almost 10 times more than this one. A micro SD card is present here, and this is amazing because this feature is very rare these days, and it is good to see that companies like Cubot are still offering it with their phones. When it comes to RAM, this device has 6 gigabytes, which is acceptable for its price. If you need more, however, you can add 10 gigabytes of extended RAM for a smoother multitasking experience. Now let's talk about the cameras. On the front, the KingKong ES has a 16-megapixel lens. Pictures taken with it during daylight are acceptable with plenty of details, but the dynamic range isn't really the best. At night, this camera loses details, but I would call it fine for a device this cheap. On the back, as you can see, there are 3 cameras: a 48-megapixel main lens, a 2-megapixel macro lens, and an auxiliary lens, but let's be honest, only the main camera is useful here. Personally, I don't take macro pictures at all, so I don't care about this lens at all, but if you are the type of person that takes these kinds of pictures, you have this option here. The auxiliary lens helps the main camera for taking better pictures. The main camera itself is really good. It takes sharp pictures with great colors. The ultra-wide and telephoto camera are missing here, but for taking regular daylight pictures, this camera does the job well. At low light, the quality of the main camera decreases a bit, but we should always keep in mind the price of this phone. Video recording, on the other hand, isn't one of the best strengths of this phone. It can shoot videos up to 1080p, but the lack of OIS makes the videos a bit shaky. Overall, the camera system of the Cubot KingKong ES gets a pass from me because it has a great main camera and a good selfie camera. The KingKong ES has a mono speaker on the back, and audio quality isn't really that impressive. For a mono speaker, the sound quality is good and loud, but the lack of stereo speakers is really noticeable. Also, the speaker isn't in a convenient position since it is always blocked by the hand if you use the device in portrait mode. The battery life, on the other hand, is really impressive. To make this device as thin and as light as possible, Cubot opted for a smaller battery capacity rated at 5,100 mAh. In reality, however, the battery life is really good. This device usually lasts me for 2 days even with heavy usage. Truth be told, there are a lot of rugged phones that can last more than the KingKong ES, but they are extremely bulky and heavy. The KingKong ES is the only rugged phone that combines comfort and a great battery life. When it comes to charging, this device takes longer to do a full cycle, but considering that with a single charge it lasts 2 days, I am not upset by this. Wireless charging is missing here, but this isn't really a big deal. What is a big deal for me is the lack of a fingerprint scanner. Face Unlock is here and it works well, but the fact that it doesn't have a fingerprint scanner bothers me. Sure, it is a very cheap device, but fingerprint scanners have been here for more than a decade and have been the standard way to secure our devices. So what are my final thoughts, and do I really recommend buying the Cubot KingKong ES? Definitely yes. I always rate phones by their price, and when features like a fingerprint scanner and stereo speakers aren't present on a $100 phone, I get slightly disappointed, but I can get over it because the device is cheap. If this phone was priced over $200, for example, I wouldn't have recommended it, but for $100, I think it offers a fantastic value for money. It has a robust build quality and an amazing battery life. These features alone are worth the money. Add to this the good cameras and the 90Hz screen, then you have a rugged phone that checks all the basics and feels comfortable in the hand. If you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and once again, thanks to Cubot for sending this device for review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.